Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. We're mixing it up a little bit on this video. Yes, we have a first-person perspective on just what it's like to drive this, the Porsche Taycan, giving you a real sense of what it might be like for you if you're in the driver's seat of one of these. And you should give it a go because yes, these cars do get a lot of stick. That is until you get in one and drive it, and then all of those preconceptions about it being an EV and dull and boring just kind of dissipate into the ether, and it becomes a rather wonderful drive. For sure, it is absolutely lovely to sit in, and that's the first thing that you notice about this car is just how comfortable it is. It is so wonderfully comfortable. Now I have the blower on there for a bit of aircon because it's quite warm today, but all the windows are closed and you probably can't hear a thing apart from hopefully just my voice, because it is that comfortable, that quiet, that silent. And this is what really surprised me when I first got in this car, is that aspect of just being able to put your head back and have a snooze. No, don't have a snooze in this car, but yeah, I think if there was one car you're at risk of falling asleep behind the wheel in, this could be it. Of course, it has all the assistance systems and safety systems to prevent that from actually happening, because that of course would not be a good thing. But the comfort of this car and the quietness of this car is wonderful. I've got the sport sound on there at the moment, so you can probably just about hear that. If I turn that off and turn off the blower there, listen to that. You cannot hear a thing. That is what this car does so well. Plenty of hustle and bustle outside. It is just the most quiet, serene place to be, and honestly, it makes driving those journeys that you might not want to necessarily do an absolute pleasure. Are they going to cross? No, I don't think they are, so we're going to be on our way. But that is what this car does so well, and if you try a Taycan for just one reason, try it from a comfort and quiet perspective, and it does so much more. It is so versatile. Currently doing 28 miles an hour in a 30, 50, and there we are, quick blast up to 45. The acceleration is instant, but we'll get onto that in a bit. Before we do, we're going to touch on the driving position, because that would be the perfect thing to do with this camera setup right now. So the driving position is simply wonderful. You are low, you are close to the road, you feel connected despite the car being so big. It doesn't feel as big as it is to drive. It feels way more responsive, but Porsche have been doing this for a long time. Millions of hours of driver feedback. The driving position is central. You will notice that there, a line straight down here. My feet are either side of the pedal, a perfect straight line. Some other cars, BMW are a bit naughty about this, Mercedes sometimes, you kind of feel like you're maybe off to the side a little bit, at a bit of an angle, or a bit tilted, or you have to reach, or you start to get an ache. But this is absolutely wonderful. We've got the multi-position adjustable seats in this, not the sports bucket seats. The control of these seats that you have is phenomenal. So this seat right now that I'm in is absolutely holding me perfectly. No rubbing spots, no areas that I might deem to be perhaps a little bit uncomfortable. It is simply perfect because it is that configurable, that adjustable in terms of the rake, in terms of the lumbar support, in terms of the bolsters. I can't fault the driving position and the comfort and the access you have to everything in this car. It is really brilliant, and they've done a fantastic job of that. So that is the first area out of the way, the driving position. Really, really good. Try it, get in one, sit in one, give it a go. Next up, the controls. Love-hate relationship with the controls. We're going to put that back on because it's getting a little bit warm. But love-hate relationship with the controls in this car. Cool, yes, they're definitely very cool, but of course there is a complete lack of switches and buttons. Everything is touch. So it looks cool, it's nice and clean, but the big problem is you've got kind of no point of reference or anything to hold on to. So your hand kind of bounces all over the place a little bit if you're on a bumpy road, and you have to kind of really fight to get what are pretty small buttons in some cases. So you have to kind of use this as a support and really help yourself out. But it is one area that I think is a bit lacking in this car. A switch or two would be nice. Steering wheel buttons are really helpful. Of course, you've got the rockers there for the dial, and we'll get onto that in a bit. But another weird area as well is you can't, of course, move the heaters in this car, the vents, sorry, these are fixed. You move them around electronically with this thing here, which is definitely a bit of a party piece, and not something that I think is that great, because you've got to go into a screen to then hit that, to then move it around, just so you can get the blowiness that you wanted. But that is definitely a kind of, they've done that for the sake of it. It feels like a little bit. So into a 60 and 58 miles an hour, 59, just below the 60 there, keeping it legal. I mean, you could easily do pretty much double, maybe triple the speed limit everywhere in this car safely. Of course, not safely. What I mean by that is the car could capably do it. Of course, it'd be very naughty, very illegal, and a bit dangerous should somebody step out in front, but the capability of this car in that respect is brilliant. So we've touched on the controls a little bit. They're kind of okay, but not really ideal, because a little bit small, a little bit fiddly. Cup holders, don't like those, we've spoken about that before. But the steering wheel and this central dash layout, so let's touch on this a little bit here. So you select the focus screen here with that yellow ring. You can see that. In this instance, we're in the middle. And this is quite a cool feature, the extended map. Of course, many cars do that now. But one mode I do like on this central screen here is this mode here, reduced, where everything is super minimal. At night, when you've got these turned off, that as well is the only screen enabled. It looks really cool, and it doesn't distract, doesn't glare, doesn't blind you like some cars do sometimes with too much going on. Of course, we have the passenger display over there currently turned off, but the controls and the LCDs are really cool in this car. They're a definite selling point. They look clean, especially when it's turned off. Very space age and a really nice touch. The quality of the interior is really faultless. It's really well put together. No creaks, no rattles in that respect at all. So I'm very, very impressed with just how well Porsche have managed to provide you with something that just feels really quality. Now, the drive in this car, we're currently in comfort or individual mode I've activated, which is normal, which means you have a nice smooth progressive travel on the suspension, and this mode is so comfortable, soaking up those bumps, soaking up those lumps with ease, with grace. What this car does so well, and it's still, as you can see there, a bit of front understeer there, but really good considering its weight and the fact we're still in super mega comfort mode. If we go into sport mode there, Sport Plus on the dial, you see we're in an individual, into sport, you get the slightly louder sound coming from that fake sport sound there. Just got to watch my speed here. This is indeed a 50, not a 40. Thank you. Car, a bend. Absolutely perfect. No issue there at all. Again, a bend. I mean, you could easily do triple the speed that I'm doing now. Maybe not that, but brakes, progressive, smooth, because you have, if we go back to this power mode here, you can see what I'm doing with the accelerator and the brake there, that little blue dial. You might not be able to see it actually with this camera, but really smooth if you're in that regen part of the brakes. Really, really comfortable, and it does inspire a lot of confidence, this car. It does feel really well secured to the road, and that's partly because of the immense weight. It weighs about 48.5 tons on a good day. It is a very heavy car, and that's what they're known for, EVs, being heavy because of all that battery. But I would love to be able to completely open this up and fly down here and break the speed limit, but of course that's naughty and people tell you off and you get a spanked bottom, so I won't be doing that today. But really, really, as you can see, very responsive, just really kind of nice in terms of the way it handles. You have good feedback through the wheels, surprisingly good. It's not the best, but it is responsive, right? And you do feel a little bit connected. Not perfect, but it is definitely very good. And I think if you haven't driven a Taycan and you get in one to give it a go, you will be pleasantly surprised with just how agile and responsive it feels. And of course, this Taycan now is already really out of date because they just released new ones, more power, more range, more everything. So we're basically in a milk float. We might as well be in a milk float right now. Thank you, Porsche, for that. Very kind of you. And yeah, they put the price up as well. But really very good. Watching the speed there, coming into a 40, so slow it down. Wonderful. I mean, it just instantly responds to your actions, to your input. And sports mode, yeah, it's impressively firm for a car of this size. What else is there to talk about? So visibility in this car, it is good, but it is massive, so you don't really have a sense of where the front of this car is at any time, which is why, oh, you can't see it now because we're going too fast, why the surround view in this is an absolute must. This is a 40, right? So yeah, visibility is good. These pillars here are a bit obtrusive sometimes, I find, because they're just so big, of course, airbags, right, and a blower in there as well. It's not the best car for visibility. Visibility out of the rear is shocking, really bad. So yeah, you need this, get the surround view if you're looking at this car in any way, shape or form. But I hope that gives you a good sense of just how this car is to be in, how it is to sit in, the driving position, how it looks from a driver's perspective with this unique, groundbreaking camera angle that has never been done before. Yeah, it's been done before, of course. But I think we can wrap it up for this video. Hopefully that gives you a bit of an overview, kind of gives you an impression of a free test drive maybe without having to get out and actually test drive one. But of course, if you are thinking about one of these, a used one is a great buy right now. Get out, give it a test drive. That is it for this one. Do stay safe, stay well. See you on the next one, and bye for now.